Así arranca el último, es esto, la fábrica del día de la fecha. Esta sección en donde lo que hacemos es nutrirnos con diferentes diálogos. Hablamos con productores, con sonidistas, con toda gente relacionada a la industria de la música, de todos estos cambios que ha sufrido justamente esta actividad que hace un puñadito de años nada más precisaba de barcos, de aviones, de container que distribuyan de un lado al otro del planeta Tierra todo lo referido al mundo de la música. Ni hablar de, no sé, pienso en el teatro, con todo lo que tiene que ver con los vestuarios, con los guiones, con que eso se debe seguir haciendo, calculo yo. O también en el cine, que se tenía que llevar de un lado al otro una cinta gigante en algún despacho de algún avión. Hoy todo se resuelve digitalmente y la música ni hablar. Hablábamos hace un rato con Diego Villordo, que pueden encontrar la nota también en nuestro canal de YouTube. Sobre todos estos cambios, sobre todo viéndolo desde acá, desde un hombre del under porteño, argentino, federal, desde hace ya 20, 25, 30 años. Y bueno, para hablar de todos ese tipos de cambios, de revoluciones, de marcha para adelante, para arriba, para abajo, para el medio, es que hacemos esta sección. Ahora estamos esperando que los amigos de VARLOTS, que es la banda que estábamos escuchando nada más y menos recién haciendo Dissipate, se conecten con nosotros. Ellos son de Estados Unidos, así que en minutitos nada más vamos a estar hablando con ellos.
Ya estuve hablando con la gente de VARLOTS a través del email y por Instagram, y están, así que ya deben estar por aparecer en cualquier momento. Genios. Ahí está. Hello. Ahí están. Can you turn off the radio because we have a little delay?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. No problem for that. No problem for that. Sí.
Todo tuyo, Raúl, no me esperes a mí.
Bueno, perfecto. Stephen, we are live. We are going to start with the interview. Thank you very much for your time, for your support. It's been a pleasure to speak with you. I'm a fan of this kind of music, so we are going to start with the interview. We're live. Please tell us your full name, where are you from, and how old are you?
My name is Stephen Edwards, and I'm originally from New Jersey, and I'm 36 years old now, and we're VARLOTS.
Okay, estamos hablando con la gente de VARLOTS, estamos hablando con Stephen, que tiene 36 años y es de New Jersey. And can you tell us which is your first memory of you listening to music?
Oh, geez. One of my first memories of listening to music was the R&B artist Seal, actually.
On the Batman soundtrack?
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it on the Batman soundtrack?
Yeah.
It's Stephen. Bueno, I'm going to I'm going to make a little translation for the Spanish listeners. Stephen está con un montón de gente alrededor, son los otros miembros de la banda. Sí, y se están riendo. You think that R&B, Seal, it's R&B?
Yeah, I would say it's more pop R&B kind of. At least a very Americanized very type of R&B.
Exactly. And can you introduce, you are with another people, can you introduce them?
Oh yeah, this is Ryan Trippetti. Me and Ryan have been friends for over a decade, and he plays guitar in VARLOTS. And my buddy Kevin, he plays drums, and he plays a bunch of other instruments, and he's incredible. And this is Tara, who plays bass in VARLOTS, and they're all awesome people, and I love them.
Okay, I'm a bass player. I think that the most important people are the bass players, so congrats. Yes.
I agree.
Thanks for that. And you've been listening to Seal. Can you tell us, when you were a kid, where does the music came from? From the TV, from the radio?
When I was younger, it was a lot of MTV, and when music videos still played. So obviously, like, the Seal example, it was the movie Batman Forever came out, and it was like 1997 or something like that. So it just took me by storm, and I loved movies as a kid, so it was just like a match made in heaven. And on that soundtrack, it led me to Smashing Pumpkins, yes, and The Offspring and things like that.
Sí, increíble. El soundtrack of Batman era increíble. Bueno, nos está hablando de sus inicios, Manu, cuando era joven. Escuchaba mucha música, iba mucho al cine también. Y bueno, estaba hablando del soundtrack de Batman, que tiene un montón de cosas, entre ellas Seal, que fue lo que nombró. And can you tell us which was your first instrument and the first song that you learned?
Oh, my first instrument was the guitar. And the first song I ever learned on guitar, I learned it by ear. I don't know how to read music or anything like that. It was a song called Attitude by the Misfits. That was my first song I learned.
Excellent. Sí. And can you tell us?
Pará, eso lo dijo porque dijo lo del R&B. Quería equilibrar.
Sí. You want to equilibrate with Seal and Misfits. It's okay.
I like to keep an open mind because there's so much great music out there. I never want to limit myself. I want to hear everything.
Exactly. This radio is we have the same impression of music. Everybody has to try to listen to everything that it's on the radio, on the TV. I completely agree with that. And can you tell us, when you were in New Jersey, are there any places to study music for free, or you have to pay always?
I would like to imagine you always have to pay because growing up working class environment, you basically have to learn how to do everything yourself, unfortunately. So you typically cost money, yes.
Okay, it happens. And can you tell us each one of the bands which was the first concert that you went?
Oh, jeez.
The first concert.
I know mine.
Oh, I know mine. I can't remember which came first, but I think I saw Green Day or James Brown.
Wow.
Whoa.
Sí, muy bueno. Sí. And the others?
I love James Brown.
And the other members of the band?
Yes, so my first concert was Van Halen in 2007 in Philly. Was my first concert.
Oof, incredible. And you were a kid? You were with your parents or with your friends?
Yeah, with my dad. He's the biggest Van Halen fan that I know.
Wow.
I was like 13 when that happened.
And how do you feel about that? Van Halen on the stage?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, I grew up with Van Halen pretty much, so that was really cool to like see them in person.
Wow, incredible.
Y él es baterista.
But you are the drummer.
Yes, I'm the drummer. That's correct.
And how do you feel about the guitar player doing that?
He's a guitarist too.
Yes, I learned guitar when I was 10 years old, and then I picked up drums about a year after that.
Yeah, Kevin is the best guitarist in VARLOTS, and he plays drums.
Wow, beautiful.
Excellent.
And which was your first instrument, your first guitar? It was a cheap one or expensive?
I had a beginner Squire. Yeah, I think it was a beginner Squire. Had that for a while.
Excellent.
And then when you changed to the drum, you feel a lot of differences. How was that?
I picked up drums pretty quickly. I kind of already had a sense of rhythm already, so I didn't really take lessons for that one or anything. I just kind of taught myself. Yeah, I kind of went from there.
See. Maybe we can talk everybody about this because the second guitar, the rhythm guitar, for me is a really important thing on the band. How do you feel about that?
Pará, que ella quería decir.
Sorry. And the other, the first concert. Sorry.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
This is hilarious. My first concert was Rod Stewart in 1992.
Oh.
And it was actually so sick.
It
truly was. He was out there kicking soccer balls into the crowd and stuff. It was so much fun, and it really, I don't know. It was just, I wasn't a fan. I went with my friend's dad, who was a big Rod Stewart fan. But it was the first big arena show I'd ever been to, and it blew my mind. It was so well done and so much fun.
See, that is the difference between a concert and a show. I think that some people can make a show, no? And can you tell us how do you feel about rhythm guitar and that kind of things?
When did I first start?
No.
Say no. We were talking about the importance of the second guitar, the rhythm guitar. How do you feel about that? Because here in Argentina, and I'm living in Spain, Paco de Lucía and that kind of things. But how do you feel about the second guitar? It's an important thing.
The second guitar, the second guitar.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah, I think the second guitar always it gives a nice flavor to everything else. You can have the best rhythm guitar on planet Earth, but I really think it spices it up when you have, you know, the second guitar. They just it makes it so much better.
Yeah, we'll often like trade like ideas where like Steve will write the rhythm and I'll write the leads, or we'll go back and forth and then Steve will write the leads on something I wrote the rhythm to. We'll kind of just like weave in and out of each other like that, but it's always nice to have that like overarching melody come over to like add on to that.
Yeah, there's definitely in VARLOTS, at least when we write the music, there's no like set path. It's like I write songs sometimes, Ryan will bring things, and we all just do it together as a group, you know. There's no, as far as I'm concerned, there's no like a focal point. Everybody's equal here.
I feel like I felt you watching as like a great example of that, because I wrote the initial riff and then Steve just rewrote the entire song after I wrote it, and then I wrote the leads on top of the rewrite of the song that Steve made.
So, you know, it's interesting that because I'm a bass player and I have to, you know, that being in the middle of everything. Sorry, Manu is a guitar player.
I'm a bass player.
Manu is a guitar player, and we always fight about this. So, and can you tell us how did VARLOTS, the band, begin, and why you put that name?
For VARLOTS, it started somewhere, I think in 2018 or 2019. I was living up in northern New Jersey, like closer to New York City, and now I live closer to Philadelphia, and I basically wanted to start over everything. I felt like I was in bands where I didn't have my personality out there. I wasn't doing something that was true to myself. So when I started everything new, I was like, you know what, I think I want to start something that is true to myself, and I want to have people around me that I love and create music. And so it started somewhere around 2018 or 2019. And yeah, it's just been kind of going since. We've done a lot of crazy things since there. We've been on the West Coast, we've been in California, we've been all over the East Coast a bit. So it's been fun.
And the name, why you put that name?
Oh, that's actually, I went to college for English literature. So it's actually a Shakespearean word. It's an insult. It's a bad word basically, and it just means something that's not important, which I think is funny, because this band is so important to me. But at the same time, I think you have to have humility and you have to have respect for other things around you. So I feel like it sets me, like it humbles me, and it's like, as important as it is, there's so much more going on in the world outside of you. Beautiful. Nice words.
And see, in September of 2022, you released your first single, Word Pain. Sorry, my accent. How was how was the recording process of that first single?
The recording process was incredible, just because we recorded it with our friend Scott Moriarty at Backroom Studios in New Jersey, and they're very famous for extreme metal, bands called Gridlink, Grindcore, things like that. So we went there, and I wasn't sure what to expect because I never recorded there. But Scott, Backroom Studio, it was one of the best experiences ever, and I think the band, I believe they all agree as well.
Wow.
It was fun.
Yeah, no, that was like my favorite. I've recorded with many bands in the past like decade or so. That was my favorite experience, like in terms of recording an album with really any project I've been a part of. That was my favorite. It was very wonderful experience to record with at that studio in particular.
Yeah, Scott's like an old friend of ours, and we've known him for like over a decade, and so I feel like he had like a really intuitive sense of like what we were going for, what kind of music we were trying to blend, and you know, he kind of just like laid it all out for us and like was able to pull those tones that we were shooting for.
You went to the studio with all the sound set up, or you managed in the studio?
I kind of like let it. Most of the time when we do things like the tones for guitar and things like that, I kind of just let things happen for the most part. If I don't hear something I like, I'll be like, hey, maybe we could change that a little bit. But I kind of like the random chance of it. I kind of like seeing what happens. You know, it's kind of like life. I just,
We had like
you know,
reference palette though, and we had that
Yeah.
Pikachu pedal too.
yeah. We
I forgot about that.
yeah.
There's like a clone of like a heavy metal. No, what was it? It was a Blues Driver clone
Yeah.
that looked like a Pikachu, and it
Yeah.
was called the Pika Drive. That shit that's all over the record. Like,
Yeah, it was very lots of gear in the studio, so that helped shape the tone. But as a band, we're very specific about our gear. We like using Marshalls, half stacks, you know.
Science, dude.
Science, which is a great company from Portland. We love Ampeg for bass. You know, hopefully you agree that Ampeg is classic. You can't go wrong.
Exactly. So, wow, that is interesting because they are. That is a nice word because sometimes the band is like, I want this kind of sound and nothing else. Sometimes when you went to the studio, it's nice, to keep the balance between the studio sound and the things that you want. Perfect. And in October of 2023, you released your last single, Dissipate. You changed many things in the recording process, or it was more or less the same?
It was more or less the same because that song originally, it was a B-side off of Extraordinary Null. At the last second, I guess I kind of said, I don't think this song fits on Extraordinary Null, so let's just leave it for another thing. And then we eventually randomly met Jeff Schroeder, who was formerly of the Smashing Pumpkins, and he reached out to me and was like, hey, if you're ever in California, why don't we work together? And I basically immediately texted everybody in the band and was like, hey, we got to go to California right now and go work with this guy, basically.
Sure.
So it was basically a new experience, but it was more or less the same. Yeah, honestly, more the same.
He really knows his ear. Like we would like say things. Like I remember saying something. I was like, yeah, like I want my guitar tone to be like ethereal, but like spacey and like heavy. And he would be like, oh yeah, like this, and this, and just like throw it together, and then I just have like the best tone of my life. It's crazy.
Sorry, the question, but can you explain the context when you meet people like that? Because for us, I will be afraid. He's the guy of Smashing Pumpkins. How do you feel about that? And how was the context?
Porque vos sos bajista, Rolo.
Manu is fighting with me because I'm a bass player. I'm afraid, can you explain the context? You were on a bar, you were talking like any other person. How was that?
It was interesting because when we first originally were talking, we had released the single for World Pain, and I guess Jeff saw it somewhere online and he found us and he reached out to us. Wow. And I'd never met him before, I'd never spoken with him before, and I'm a huge fan of him and the Smashing Pumpkins. They're like, him and that band are one of my favorite things of my life.
It was just luck that it got on his feed.
Yeah, and
on his Instagram feed, like literally.
And just talking to him and having worked with him, he is one of the most genuine, down-to-earth, humble men I've ever met on earth. He is the coolest person ever, and he is, sometimes people have attitudes about being, famous rock star type of thing, but with Jeff, none of that. He's the most nicest person ever.
Beautiful experience. And can you tell us where does your inspiration comes to write things? The lyrics, for example.
The lyrics, for better or worse, it's a lot of life. That's where I draw from everything. And I know people have a lot of different ways they write lyrics and music. A lot of people draw from like stories. They'll tell stories about like, things like that, which is fine, but I feel it deeply when it's something about myself, and I use this music to try to navigate certain ordeals and problems in my life, and it helps me kind of grow as a person, and it helps me reflect on things, and it hopefully helps me get better, because it's like a timestamp. It's like, this is who I was in 2022. Hopefully now I'm better than what I was back then.
Beautiful. See, because you find a way to express yourself. That is really interesting. See, and can you tell us, how do you feel when somebody listens to your music and he says, see, how do you feel about that?
It's incredible. Like when anybody, because the world is so busy nowadays, and like, there's just so much on the internet. You can look at anything you possibly want. So when anybody listens to one song, one time, thank you so much, because I know time is limited for everyone. Everyone's so busy. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you so much. Anybody listening to that, like, I genuinely appreciate it. We all genuinely appreciate that.
But you think that people are friends when they listen to your music, or they are completely strange?
No.
I think it's like a mix. Like, obviously, like when we started the band, it was like a lot of friends. Like, you know, Steve and I had played together for years. Like Steve and Tara, like in a band, like all of us have played, you know, in different scenes for like many years. So I feel like it was a lot of people from those like disparate scenes, like, you know, a lot of the shoegaze scene, a lot of the grindcore scene, a lot of the punk scene. And then it kind of just like spread from there. I feel like as a band, we sort of cross genres like a lot. And so we get these bills that have like, you know, just kind of just different people like associated with them. And, you know, from there, it kind of just makes its way out to, and that's a thing that I personally really like about the band, that we're able to be on like a lot of different types of bills.
So, for me, it's strange to can you hear me? Me parece que se cortó la comunicación. Hello? Ahí está. Now it's okay. See, it's for me it's strange because I'm a heavy metal fan, so I have a black shirt, you have a black shirt, we are friends, you know, something like that. Yes. Can you tell us, you have a scene like in VARLOTS, you play for alternative music, which kind of scene you are in music?
We play so many different things because our record, Extraordinary No, it has metal on it, you know, it has shoegaze, it has alternative rock, it's got so many things on it. So I feel like a lot of the time when we do play, we end up playing with like post-punk bands, we play with shoegaze bands, we play with heavy sludge bands. It's so everywhere, and I think that's kind of a great representation of who we are as people, because we all have such eclectic tastes, we like everything. So I love the fact that VARLOTS can basically show up anywhere, and we're all going to be friends.
Perfect. Sí. Manu, ¿alguna pregunta?
Sí, okay. Are you play music, sorry for that, but for people, you know, 40, 30, you know, 20s, Raúl. But today are a lot of new sounds, you know, with the Ableton and Fruity Loops and that kind of stuff. You are open to that kind of sound, to that kind of things, or not?
Are you asking like as a listener or as like a player?
No, in VARLOTS. Or in VARLOTS.
Oh, interesting.
We never like super. I'm personally open to experimenting with just about anything. I think something that naturally comes to us is like we all kind of grew up playing in like a lot of guitar-based music. Personally, like I listen to a lot of music that extends like outside of that. Like I listen to like a ton of hip hop, and you know, one of our friends that plays with, shout out to like Ruggy Ruggs, she does like noise mixed with like Jersey club, mixed with like hip hop, mixed with just like hardcore. I'm personally like very inspired by that, but I don't have the technical knowledge to like get into you know like those kinds of like sounds. So I would say if that ever happened, I would be open to including those sounds personally, but like naturally we kind of are all, I feel like we make like guitar, you know, mostly guitar-based music, and
it's actually funny that you brought that up, because we're starting to work on our second record, and there's some, not a lot of it, but there's a little bit of what you're talking about on there actually. So that's very weird that you brought that up. That's strange.
Perfect. Sí. No, muy bueno lo que haga. I'm going to make a little translation. Bueno, estamos hablando con VARLOTS. Nos están comentando todo que tienen la experiencia, la oportunidad de tocar en un montón de escenas. No van directamente a uno, en shoegaze, en sludge, en heavy metal. Van compartiendo escenario con un montón de público. Bueno, tuvieron la oportunidad de grabar en 2022 un disco. Después los agarró de casualidad escuchó sus canciones el guitarrista de Smashing Pumpkins, bueno, y grabaron con él también un par de canciones, y ahora están preproduciendo su segundo disco, que le preguntó Manu por sonidos nuevos, por sonidos de esta nueva época, y dice sí que están abiertos y que ellos personalmente también escuchan un poco de todo, pero bueno, la banda más que nada tiene sus influencias de haber escuchado mucha música con muchas bandas con guitarra. Eso más o menos es el panorama. Manu, si te parece, le pregunto por la escena musical de...
Sí, ya cerramos.
Dale, perfecto, sí. Can you tell us something about the Philadelphia music scene? How is now the Philadelphia music scene?
It's diverse. There's so many things, and it's all good.
Oh, perfect.
It's not all. Many music scenes across America, the quality, it's here. It could be high, it could be low, but Philadelphia is one of the best cities I've ever seen. They've got everything you could ever want. There's rock, metal, hip hop. There's jazz. There's all sorts of things for everybody you can think of, and it's all great quality. And I love it so much. And I tell everybody, if you want to come to Philadelphia, you should come for the music scene, at least. At least.
You've been living near New York. Do you feel many differences between New York and Philadelphia? How is that?
I do, honestly. Obviously, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, not the whole band potentially, but I feel like New York City is very not what it used to be. It is very no neighbors. You don't know your neighbor anymore. It's very just nobody has time for anybody. You know, nobody knows anyone anymore. It's just people from everywhere on earth except New York City in New York City.
Okay.
So I think it's kind of nice being in Philadelphia. Philadelphia reminds me of how New York used to be 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Sí. We thought about that. I'm a big fan of the Ramones, and and I want to speak about New York with you. Thanks for that. And can you tell us something? We are going to make more 3 questions. Can you tell us how do you feel about the mainstream bands and the local bands there in Philadelphia? In Philadelphia, they support the local bands?
They do, honestly. There's this band called Nothing from Philadelphia. They're a big shoegaze band, and they support lots of smaller acts. They do a thing called Slide Away Fest in Philadelphia, and they bring out a lot of like younger bands who do shoegaze and things like that. So it kind of feels like, in a strange way, they're passing it on to a different generation. They are trying to support younger people who are into the genre. So, you know, I think they are actually a really positive force in Philadelphia, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Perfect. How was the name? Slide Away?
Yes, Slide Away.
Slide Away. I'm going to check it. Thanks for the contacts. Can you tell us something about VARLOTS' future plans?
Like I said earlier, we want to make our second record. We're actually, today is the first time we've met in the same room in about a year and a half. Yeah, so I really wanted, you know, hang out with everybody first, and just be friends, and then I really wanted to try to I just really want to get to work on the second record, and hopefully be a great band.
Perfect. Manu, ¿alguna otra pregunta?
No, preguntémosle por la última canción, si te parece bien.
Dale,
por Adrift, y terminamos. ¿Qué representa para ellos? Y terminamos.
Hermoso. Stephen and the band, thank you very much for your time. We really love to speak with you. We think you are an honest band, that you express what you feel. That is really important for us. And we are going to close the interview. We are going to listen to Adrift. Can you tell us something about that particular song?
Yeah. Tara actually sings on Adrift. Yeah.
Perfect.
I forgot about that. That was one of those situations where Stephen and Ryan wrote the music, but I really like to sing and write lyrics, so I just took a stab at it, and that actually came out of really enjoying kind of being isolated during COVID. like I really like it was a good introspective time for me, and that's what that song, like at least the lyrics and singing, is about.
Beautiful. We hope that we keep in touch. See, and when you have new material, please send to us. See, and we keep in touch.
Of course,
okay?
yes. Raul, Manu, thank you so much for your time. Really, thank you so much. We loved it.
Thanks for your support. See, we are going to send you the interview when the live show ends. Thank you very much. We keep in touch. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take it easy.